In the Ottoman palace, the executioner couldn't speak. He couldn't write. He couldn't tell anyone who he was about to kill, not even the victim. And when he finally arrived at your door, he didn't carry a sword. He carried a length of silk. For 600 years, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful states on earth. It controlled 3 continents, 25 million people, and the trade routes between Europe and Asia. But what made the empire really strange wasn't the wars, or the wealth, or the sultans. It was the rules, the customs, the things that, for the people who lived there, were just Tuesday. Today, we're going through 20 of them, things that were completely normal inside the Ottoman Empire and completely insane everywhere else. If you like the strange corners of history, subscribe. New episode every week. Let's go. Number 1. The Sultan kept a personal squad of mute servants, deaf mutes, sometimes deafened on purpose, chosen specifically because they couldn't repeat what they overheard. They handled the most sensitive duties in the palace, including executions. The fewer people who could describe what happened inside those walls, the better. Number 2. The inner palace ran on a code of total silence. The deeper you went toward the Sultan's private quarters, the quieter it had to be. Servants developed their own sign language. Even the council that ran the empire, the Divan, met in near silence, with hand signals replacing speech. Imagine running a continent without raising your voice. Number 3. You could not turn your back on the Sultan, ever. When your audience ended, you walked backward out of the room, sometimes for 30 or 40 feet, all the way to the door. Trip on the way out, and your career was over. Sometimes your life too. Number 4. Sultans had many sons. The sons could not coexist, so from the 1400s onward, when a new sultan took the throne, his first official act was often to have all his brothers killed. Sometimes dozens of them. Sometimes including the infant ones. This wasn't a custom, it was Ottoman law. Number 5. By the 1600s, killing every brother became politically awkward, so the empire invented the kafes, the cage. Princes were locked in a luxurious wing of the harem, surrounded by women who'd been sterilized so they couldn't have children, and kept there, sometimes for decades. One sultan was released from the cage after 39 years to take the throne. He was completely unprepared to rule. The empire suffered for it. Okay, step out of the palace. Because while the sultans were strangling each other inside, the rest of the empire was doing this. Number 6. The Ottoman bathhouse, the hammam, wasn't just for getting clean. It was a half-day social event. Business deals were negotiated there. Mothers picked wives for their sons there. Gossip was traded, marriages arranged, political alliances made, all of it conducted while nude, on a heated marble slab. If you wanted to know what was really happening in the empire, you didn't read the papers. You went to the baths. Number 7. Coffee was introduced to the empire in the 1500s. The Ottomans loved it so much that coffee houses spread everywhere. And the Sultan got nervous. People were gathering, talking, possibly plotting. So coffee was banned, twice. Punishment for drinking it the second time? Death. Sultan Murad IV was rumored to walk through Istanbul in disguise, beheading anyone he caught with a cup. Number 8. The tulip. Yes, that tulip, the one you associate with the Netherlands, was an Ottoman obsession first. The empire had an entire historical era named after it, the tulip period. Sultans threw moonlight garden parties just to admire them. The most prized bulbs cost more than houses. The Dutch only got tulips because the Ottomans exported them. The most famous flower in European history is, technically, Turkish. Number 9. The street dogs of Istanbul were considered city residents, citizens, almost. Locals fed them, named them, looked after them for centuries. When a reformist mayor in 1910 tried to clean them up by deporting tens of thousands to an uninhabited island, the population starved. The city felt cursed. There was an earthquake the next year. People connected the two. They still talk about it. Here's the part that genuinely surprises people. Number 10. The most powerful men in the Ottoman Empire, the Grand Viziers, the generals, the governors of provinces, were almost all slaves. Specifically, slaves who'd been taken from Christian families in the Balkans as boys. This was called the devshirme. The boys were converted to Islam, educated in palace schools, and trained for government. It was a career path so prestigious that some Christian families bribed officials to take their sons. Slavery in the Ottoman world could be the path to running an empire. Number 11. The chief executioner of the empire was also the chief gardener. Same person, same office. The Bastansabasi oversaw the palace grounds, and when the Sultan ordered a high-ranking death, the head gardener took care of it. Imagine working at a beautiful palace, seeing the gardener every day, and slowly realizing what he actually does for a living. Number 12. The Topkapi Palace kitchen employed more than 1,300 cooks at its peak, each one specialized in a single dish. There was a chef who only made halva, a chef who only made yogurt, a chef who only made the specific kind of stuffed grape leaves the Sultan preferred. Imagine being the world's leading expert in one dish, working for one man for life. Number 13. The elite Ottoman infantry, the janissaries, held their soup kettle as their most sacred object. Each regiment had one. If they overturned that kettle during a meal, it was the official signal of rebellion against the Sultan. Multiple sultans were overthrown, and at least one killed, because of an overturned soup pot. An entire empire trained itself to fear a kitchen utensil. Number 14. The harem was not what you've been told. It wasn't a pleasure palace. It was an institution. Hundreds of women lived there, but most were not romantic partners of the Sultan. They were administrators, accountants, teachers, daughters of foreign nobles being raised in court. The harem was the most powerful office in the empire that almost no man was ever allowed to enter. Number 15. The most powerful person in the empire, often, was not the Sultan. It was his mother, the Valide Sultan. The Queen Mother ran the harem, controlled access to her son, managed enormous personal wealth, and shaped imperial policy. For about 130 years, in the 1500s and 1600s, Queen Mothers effectively co-ruled the empire. Historians call this period the Sultanate of Women. Number 16. A girl could enter the harem as a slave and leave it as a queen. Hürrem Sultan, captured as a teenager from what is now Ukraine, became the legal wife of Suleiman the Magnificent. She broke a 200-year tradition of sultans never marrying. She corresponded with foreign monarchs as an equal. She effectively co-ruled the most powerful empire in the world. She was, on paper, still technically a slave when she did it. Number 17. The empire's official language was Ottoman Turkish, a hybrid of Turkish, Arabic, and Persian, written in Arabic script. It was so different from spoken Turkish that ordinary citizens often couldn't read official documents. After the empire fell in 1922, the new Republic of Turkey replaced it with modern Turkish in Latin letters. Almost overnight, the entire population was cut off from their own empire's written history. Most modern Turks today cannot read a single line of what their grandparents' wrote. Number 18. The Ottomans invented the modern military marching band. The mehter, the janissary band, was the first organized military band in the world. European armies copied it. Every brass section and every military parade you have ever seen traces back, in part, to a group of Ottoman soldiers banging drums to terrify their enemies. Mozart wrote music about them. Beethoven did too. Number 19. The Sultan never showed his face to commoners. For most of the empire's history, an ordinary person who made direct eye contact with the Sultan in public could be executed for it. Sultans rode in covered carriages, prayed behind screens, gave speeches through intermediaries. For 600 years, the most powerful man in the empire was effectively invisible to the people he ruled. Number 20. And finally, Ottoman women's hair, once braided into adulthood, was almost never seen in public again. It was washed, oiled, and styled for years, sometimes for life, under the same head covering. When a woman died, Her hair was sometimes the only part of her body that anyone outside her family had never seen. A whole life, spent under one cloth. The Ottoman Empire lasted from 1299 to 1922, 623 years. Most of what was normal there is gone now, buried under a different language, a different alphabet, a different country. But the strangeness is still there. In the buildings, in the recipes, in the words modern Turkish quietly inherited from a world it can no longer read. If you want more empires the history books skip past, subscribe.